Good morning, coffee moaners. Oh, balls. I've just got to do this. You're going to lose me for a And we have, how's that? Morning, everyone. Morning, Julie, the singing nutcase. Not seen you for a while. Are you still singing like a nutcase? Morning, everyone. Welcome to the Orange Room. Hi, Lee. Hi, Becky. Good morning, GM Lovely. Helen Burke. Good morning from sunny Dublin. The sun is getting us all ready to celebrate St. Patrick's Day on Monday. A day of great hilarity, joy, and Guinness quaffing. Dina is making a gesture towards St. Patrick's Day in today's Curly Cooks. Only a gesture, a tiny one, not a full shamrocked get it in there, Sonny Jim, but a bit of a gesture. Morning, Richard Kavanagh. How are you? How is everyone? If I hear the word rub once more this morning, I'm going to rub myself out. There's a lot of rub. Here's the rub. There's a lot of rubbing going on in the kitchen. Stay tuned to the channel. Your one-stop shop on a Saturday morning. Go fuck off, Saturday Kitchen. Yeah. We're not interested in your... What is that? Your cod and samphire. Take your cod and samphire and shove it up your doodah. Sod off with your strange six shot at the end of the bloody island with everyone sat there like they're at school. Anyway, stay here for an hour and a half or two. At 11 o'clock, the Curly Cooks will be here. The aim and the ambition is to deliver you a fake away. Apparently, fake away, you're not allowed to say fake away anymore. Apparently, it's the wrong. Apparently, it's cancelled. It's called copycat, which sounds worse to me. So, fake away, copycat Wingstop, fake away, copycat Taco Bell. So head on over. My sense of things in the kitchen this morning is that I may be ordering through Uber Eats straight after this because I feel hungry, but I'm not entirely confident I'm going to get anything. But anyway, let's move through the papers. It's another weird week of news, really. Donald Trump occupying most column inches, most online news sites, a forever constant evolution of, well, the opposite of the evolution of man, the sort of the pulling apart of a nation. But in and amongst all of that, there's bits and bobs of other news. Now, this first story that I've pulled is this is from, well, most of the papers are running with this. This is something that I thought might impact some of you guys. I know that some of our followers, this is a cause for concern. This is the Labour Party. Minor mental health issues may not be eligible for state help in a massive benefit claimants shake-up that Labour is planning to the welfare bill. Ministers are planning changes to one of Britain's key benefit schemes to make mental health problems less eligible for state support. More than half of the rise in working age disability claims since the pandemic are for applications relating to mental health or behavioral conditions. This particularly relates to changes regarding the eligibility rules for personal independence payments. And yeah, the potential changes means that people struggling with things like anxiety, etc., extreme anxiety, they're going to change the definitions, change the diagnostics. And so quite a few people, I think what's nerve-wracking about this is quite a few people who are struggling with mental health issues. And sometimes it's incredibly hard to qualify the severity or not of some of these. Lee Durrant, you're on PIP and you're worried about this. I hear that. In fact, it was you mentioning it the other day that maybe home in on this. Claimants at the moment for PIP are required to undergo an assessment of their ability to fulfill daily tasks, including cooking, engaging with other people face-to-face, and a claimant's answer to the questions gives them a score that's used to decide what level of benefits they receive. Is there anyone else here who is in receipt? Julie, the singing nutcase, you received PIP? So the idea is that they're going to change the tests or lower the threshold in some way or some form. Now, without going into the specifics, this is a suggestion. This is something that they're pushing for. Obviously, the Labour Party, the party of welfare, There's a huge kind of pushback and resistance to this within the government. Mark, did you put the Bee Gees song on this morning while this tune was? No, I didn't put the Bee Gees song. Should I have put the Bee Gees? Is there a reason for putting the Bee Gees song on this song? It's a bit random. But no, brilliant. I'm pleased you're enjoying it. The bigger question here is, should Rachel Reeves change the fiscal policy rules of the country and basically put defense expenditure outside of it, so that it means she doesn't have to make welfare cuts? Helen Askew, leave things as they are. Lee Durrant, it's mainly for my heart condition, but also for my mental health. I'm in the process of being reassessed. Wasn't it the Tories, Me Too, that created these definitions in the first place? Yeah, I don't think this is a party thing. I think this is just something that, you know, clearly things need to be, savings need to be made, things need to be looked at and examined. I'm not looking at this story as a kind of party political thing necessarily. You just sort of wonder whether, given the enormous size of countries' debt piles and deficits, you sort of begin to wonder, I mean, are there ever going to be enough cuts that kind of cover the costs? And as we all kind of, you know, shift all our expenditure towards warmongery and fighting, it just feels strange. I am drawn back to Jeremy Corbyn saying we can always find the money to blow people up, but we can never find the money to help people. Do you know what I mean? I'm so worried about the PIP thing, Matthew Ward. Yeah, I thought for a number of you it would be, you know, it would be a cause for concern. I did not qualify for PIP because mainly because I drive, says Farida R. It was ridiculous as I have a serious mental health condition. So already what you're saying is already the bar is set quite high. I think, Me Too, I think the defence budget should not be subject to fiscal rules. EU is thinking, yeah, it should be almost like parked outside, shouldn't it? So it should be something that's considered outside of all other considerations. So that was a big story. Hunt, this is John Hunt, the sports commentator, the sports presenter who tragically lost 2 of his daughters and his wife in the crossbow killing this week. John Hunt's returned to work as a BBC commentator, very much in his return to work, doing the commentary in the commentary box at the Cheltenham Festival, very much wanting, you know, a little known detail perhaps around the whole story is that Hannah, one of his daughters, called him to in a sense, saved his life. She sort of flagged up a warning to him, and he could have easily been, as he says, the 4th victim if he hadn't received that call. And his line on this is, he wants to, in respect of her memory and in tribute to her saving his life, even though she lost hers, he wants to demonstrate and exploit and take advantage of the freedom that his daughter gave him. I get that. I understand that. It's you know, I think it's like Nadia often says, you know, grief operates in very different ways for different people. And I can see how for him, there will be a bittersweetness in his ability to even present. I mean, you could, you know, my first thought was, my God, how could you even sort of, I don't know, how could one be able to do it after everything he's gone through? And yet at the same time, tied into that is a tribute to his dear daughter, who allowed him to be able to do this. So he, you know, and it's a finger up in the face of the crossbow killer. So yeah, it's a very sort of bittersweet story there. If you haven't watched it, and if you don't know anyone who hasn't watched it, where the hell have you been? This is the series everyone is already talking about. We're going to be reviewing it this weekend. Dina, Nads, we've all been talking about it this morning. Adolescence, the new show on Netflix starring Stephen Graham, a series of one-take shots, which in and of themselves are just so mesmerizing from a technical perspective. You can almost forget the story. And then you've got an amazing story with astonishing actors. We will be reviewing it, 4-part series. We're halfway through episode 3. And the papers are sort of talking about this. In the middle of the Mail, this is the most brilliant, powerful, and important TV drama for years. Every parent must watch it. Then there's always opportunity for a dig at the BBC, though I have to confess, I agree. And how telling it's being shown by Netflix, not the tired old BBC. I mean, I have to say, I mean, the BBC, well, I wouldn't just say BBC, I'd say BBC, ITV, all the terrestrial channels can't do drama particularly well anymore. But all the papers are kind of acknowledging that this is becoming something of a viral watch. Me Too watched episode 1. It's very good episode. I mean, it's just astonishing. A nightmare. Every parent should see this, says the Daily Mirror. Teen murder, social media pressure, toxic masculinity. Some absolutely astonishing performances so far. As I say, we're going to finish the series and we're going to review it. But it feels, you know, laced into this is every parent's worst potential nightmare. I don't want to do any spoilers in case you haven't seen any of it, regarding a child caught up in an act of violence. The acting is brilliant. You know, I often say that, you know, too often you sort of watch, I don't know, soaps and stuff like that, and you know, you get sort of, you know, a lot of soap operas go for this casualty standard. They go for this kind of one take, let's go for a live show. And it feels achingly obvious and achingly mapped out. And you can almost feel and see the first ADs opening doors and pointing them in the direction so that they don't bang their heads. This is the absolute opposite end of it. This is sinewy, seamless, and just gives you that adrenalized sort of rush of it being live, but with all the right production values. Nothing's contrived. Nothing's contrived. So obviously that's in a lot of the papers today. You'll be relieved to know that Greenland is united in its resolve to defy Trump. Greenland's political leaders have branded Donald Trump's call to annex the territory unacceptable. Obviously, Greenland had its elections this week. The heads of Greenland's 5 political parties united to condemn the US president's attempts to create division. The only thing that worries me about them all saying this is it possibly means that he's going to send in the troops, just as he's going to in Panama. He's deranged. I do have a feeling, just the first moment this week on the whole Trump front, where I just sort of think, things are beginning to go wrong. And when things go wrong for Trump, things begin to go even wronger, if such a word exists. Tesla might be down, but Musk's stock is on the rise in Israel as it checks out his cars. It tells you everything you need to know, really, doesn't it? I mean, it's like we have the arch villain on the global stage, which is, to be clear, Netanyahu's Israel. And then you have the arch villain from Austin Powers, Elon Musk, alongside another kind of arch villain of the Western world, Donald Trump. And you sort of, and we're surprised that Tesla, the only place that Tesla's doing well is in Israel. I'm not surprised at all. Here's an image for those of you listening. It's a bit frustrating. I think the Telegraph is trying to suggest Donald Trump's given Elon Musk a dressing down here. I don't think so, but I do genuinely feel, and call this instinct, maybe energy, maybe, you know, some kind of holistic energy. I don't feel things are good in the White House. I think things are coming under pressure. By all accounts, even Fox News was reporting that Trump's approval rating in many, many different areas of his running of the country is coming under huge pressure. Oh, God. I mean, the problem with all of this is, yes, we all wake up and we dread to hear what his decisions he's made. But my worry with Trump and Musk, a bit like with Netanyahu, is when in a corner, what decisions will they make when they're under stress and duress? Slightly worrying, slightly worrying. Front of the Mirror, this is just an awful story. I've come to get Cheryl. This is Cheryl Tweedy's stalker. Turned up on her doorstep. She saw him on the Ring doorbell. He's been sentenced. And I sort of, you had to dig around to see how Cheryl's panic after spotting her stalker on doorbell camera. Repeat offender jailed for just 16 weeks. You sort of think, is any sentence of 16 weeks, you either don't sentence at all, or you sentence 16 weeks for stalking. Do you know what I mean? It's just incredibly distressing experience. But it just strikes me as the sentence is just ludicrously light. Pictured for first time as his jailed killer who stalked Cheryl while she grieved for Liam. There he is. Just poor Cheryl. Yeah, absolutely, Steph. It's just so scary. 16 weeks. And then what happens? What kind of proviso is there that once he's out in 16 weeks, he doesn't just start again? I mean, of course, the next sentence will be more severe, but for her, what an absolute bloody nightmare. Totally ridiculous. Pointless sentence. Anyone in Australia may have heard about this story. It seems to be knocking about quite a bit. Wombat row influencer flees Oz after backlash. You can read the story there. An American tourist influencer enraged the world and she manhandled a baby wombat. She's had to flee Australia. There are quite a few Instagram accounts that our girls have shown us where sort of they're not wombat handling influencers, but they run wombat recovery homes and farms and stuff like that. Wombats are so cute, aren't they? They're like really fat, large mice. Such odd creatures. But anyway, yeah, no. So Samantha Strable, 24, shared a now deleted video of her laughing as she grabbed a wombat, Joey, from its distressed mother and ran off with it. Government sources revealed yesterday she's departed Australia and is believed to be on her way back to the US. There's never been a better day to be a baby wombat in Australia, Immigration Minister Tony Burke told the Mail yesterday. He said, take a baby crocodile from its mother and see how you go there. Poor old wombats. I know. What a shame. Rats feast on rubbish piled in street as bin strike begins to bite. This is in Birmingham. Rats the size of giant cats. This is in the Times. Shazia Akhtar woke up on Thursday to find the half-empty wheelie bin outside her home had been filled to bursting by someone under the cover of darkness. I don't know where I'm going to put our rubbish. Apparently, it's just mad. Anyone in Birmingham who's struggling to get rid of your rubbish? And when you hear stories like the Gene Hackman story, where his wife died of a mouse-borne virus, you sort of think, well, if they don't get a handle on this in Birmingham, at what point could, I don't know, bubonic plague or something like that? The bags are ripped. Neighbours are beginning to turn on each other in the big bin bag strewn streets of Birmingham after months of on-off strikes have turned into an indefinite all-out strike. Is there anyone here in Birmingham who's going through this? Absolutely hideous. I mean, you do see rats. I mean, I've seen rats in London, sort of central London, which are the size of small dogs. It's really, really quite unsettling. Years of debilitating period pain endured by 7 in 10 women. We've talked a lot about this, things like endometriosis, Zoe, PMDD. Have I got that right? I think it's PMP. 7 in 10 British women will experience debilitating period pain for almost 4 solid years of their life, according to researchers. And I think the simple response to that is, if it was men, there would be a solution. And an overwhelming 78% of those will have been told by a medical professional it's completely normal to have discomfort every month. And I bet many of them are men. A study of 5,000 women found the average sufferer will have 3 days of pain a month, which is equivalent to 1,350 over 450 periods. They will have visited a doctor at least twice, but only 49% were told the only option to calm symptoms was birth control. It's just the not taking seriously. It's the baked in misogyny. And does anyone here really struggle with their periods or the time of the month? It's just hideous. Just have a little comment, read some of your comments about the stories so far. The wombat story is terrible. The mother could reject the child because they're separated, says Ryan Thorne. Absolutely. Rats, Reese, yeah, especially in and around tube stations. James Campton from Australia. I love the response of our Home Affairs Minister. There's never been a better day to be a baby wombat in Australia. Yeah, it's a good line, isn't it? Anna-Marie Shellard on the periods. All male doctors I saw said stats show. I then left. That was 30 years ago. Hedge Witch. I struggle with trans women suffering with periods. Well, I mean, I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of that, but can they? Do they? Is that possible? I don't know. Yeah, again, it just speaks to a health establishment or a health industry that's just tilted against women. Carol Moore, my 14-year-old granddaughter is suffering really bad. Oh, bless. Period pains, Victoria Moore. Period pains as a teen, answer straight away was the pill. It's just astonishing, isn't it? Astonishing. I just pulled this. This was part of a much bigger piece about Alzheimer's and the things you can and can't do to kind of not prevent it, but help yourself. And here it well, I've just kind of, you can see it on the screen there. One of the most common questions I'm asked, this is the doctor who's written the piece. What is the single most important thing to do to avoid brain aging and cognitive decline? Mum, I hope you're listening. The thing that would have had the greatest impact would be quitting sugar. Unfortunately, we're evolutionarily primed to love the stuff because it offers a rapid burst of energy. Most people, if they were asked to think about the chronic consequences of too much sugar, would think about diabetes, which they might associate with a variety of symptoms like blurry vision, numb limbs, exhaustion, dry skin, etc. But when I think about sugar, my thoughts immediately turn to the havoc it wreaks on our brains. Sugar gives the brain a quick burst of energy at the expense of long-term protection. Try and cut the sugar out, guys.
In the rest of the world, they call it diabetes 3.
Diabetes 3, they call it, in the brain. The brain, the plaque. It's also like there's the plaque of the brain. Like there's plaque. We understand plaque. Yeah, we understand plaque in our arteries, don't we, causing heart disease. Why would there not be the same sort of plaque? I mean, it's a cautionary tale. I mean, you know, there's sugar in Nutella, so I have to listen to this research and these opinions. I want to ask your opinion. Should Joni Mitchell be cancelled, as Gen Z have uncovered her blackface alter ego? This is a historic thing. Should she be cancelled, though? Or was she just, you know, she was just of a different era and made a huge mistake? Joni Mitchell is facing a social media backlash over her use of blackface in the 1970s. The Canadian-American artist, one of the world's most celebrated, has come under renewed scrutiny for her former so-called black alter ego named Art Nouveau. Joni Mitchell is best known. Her alter ego featured prominently on the cover of a 1977 album, Don Juan's Reckless Daughter. Does one forgive people of earlier? I think one can. I think as long as they understand the mistake they've made. But then I'm not black, and so I don't know. So maybe I can't. You can't. I don't know. But Gen Z is in the 70s. No, of course not. Yeah, it's me too. I agree. I mean, I think my sense is that, you know, as long as there's an understanding of where the insensitivity lies. Oh, good ship lollipop. Mitchell's been so self-righteous in the past. It's funny. Well, that she's kind of missed this in her own sort of correctness. Is that what you're saying? In the 70s, things were different. Gen Z need to move on, says Cloda Fiona, Nadia's pink sperm, Reed Egan. There you go. Just learn from it, says Cassie R. Reese, it was different times then, but there does need to be accountability. Acting like it isn't a big issue is the problem. Agree. Black culture gets repeatedly taken advantage of and abused. And I think you're right. And I think as long as she was to publicly say something and say, look, fuck me, you know, we were a bunch of absolute stupid morons back then who said and did ridiculous things, and now we understand and we've seen the error of our ways. I think that would make the difference. I think cancellation is a dangerous thing. On that, Amanda Platel in the Daily Mail continues her trolling of Meghan Markle. Mrs. Sussex and the Confessions of a Serial Flounderer. She's talking about the announcement of a new podcast with Meghan, and she does what she does best, Amanda Platel, which is constantly try and pull her down or troll her in the papers. It's really odd, isn't it? Just a constant desire. I mean, look, there's light La La Land mockery and caricaturing, as everyone does with Gwyneth Paltrow, and then there's just targeting for the sake of it. Now, it's getting a bit tiresome, Miss Platel, with Platel's people. Imagine having a column in a paper where all you do every week is just target women. It's just weird, isn't it? Just go and do something a little bit more meaningful. On that note, Prue Leith also says, watch Meg's show, Leith it out. But you know what? I'm going to say something contentious. I find Prue Leith a bit of a conservative pain in the arse, if I'm honest. So there you go. I mean, I'm not your target audience for Meghan's show, but I find Prue Leith with her bright coloured glasses and her sort of, I don't know, pretend hippiness. She's quite conservative. And it's just like, for God's sake, you know, it's not for you. Neither are you, Prue. Forget special branch. I love this. Quite a funny headline, this. Forget special branch. Plant shrubs to deter thieves. Police tell crime victims. Do you get it? Special branch. Britain's biggest police force is advising burglary victims to plant 17 varieties of shrubs in their garden. So basically, victims of break-ins are being given leaflets and they're being told to plant things that have like roses and berberis, bushes that have lots of thorns. It's a great idea, this. The leaflet states that planting particular shrubs along garden walls and fences makes it harder for them to access your property, and it can put them off completely. Plant them close to each other. What have we got? We've got things like, as I said, berberis, hawthorn, flowering quince. Just, put holly, put in holly. It's great, isn't it? If you, the amount of times as a gardener, me and Nanny Dime, we've all been in the garden and you hurt yourself and you're like, fucking hell, what pain. It's like, brilliant. Let's create the pain for the burglars. Yeah, I'm the same, Reese. I like Meghan, but just can't do the show. You can walk around and chew gum, so to speak. Yeah. I'll plant a rose bush, says DP, to block my front door. God, don't these people get bored, says Charlene. Just go and do something else. Live and let live. Just moving on to the next headline. Here we go. Head chef uses CCTV to roast customers for nonsense reviews. I quite like this. This is a guy who's so sick to death of bad reviews. He's used CCTV footage of the dishes he's brought out to his customers to prove to them that they actually had more than they say they did on TripAdvisor. It's quite funny, this. One example, a customer complained they had 4 prawns in their stir fry. So this chef, Jackie Wan, began a week-long investigation. He contacted the CCTV company, sent the high-definition version of the footage to the reviewer, and then commented on the fact that actually he had served many more than the person had said, but in fact that their friends had eaten them. I think that's fair enough. I think that's fair enough. You know, use CCTV. If people who leave reviews when they haven't actually, people who leave reviews who just lie. The number of people who just want to try and get a free meal, quite literally. We are not alone, says Maggie Adarin Pocock. She says it's hubris to believe that we're the only creatures in the universe. Life must exist beyond Earth, she says. A leading space scientist, Maggie Adarin Pocock, says she'll be delivering the Royal Institution Christmas lecture, and she says that while science has made giant leaps in our understanding of space, there's still much to learn. Why do we arrogantly assume? I've always thought this. Why do we? Why? Okay, here's another question. Me too. You're quite good on all this. Why do we assume that life, any life we come across in the universe, has to have the same preconditions for life as us? That's so arrogant. Just because we need oxygen and water doesn't mean everything else does. It makes me mad. It makes me mad. Human hubris is the reoccurring problem with many things in the world. Absolutely. Going back to the planting special branch, Lucy Williams, the man that lived in my house before me planted blackberry bushes all the way around my property. I have an abundance of blackberries, but an entire garden of waste, evil, torturous brambles. That's so funny. Wingstop and Taco Bell is coming up soon. Statistically, me too. So, do you know what I mean, though? What do you make of that? I mean, I hate the way we go, well, we're going to go to Mars and we're going to see if there's water and we're going to ask ourselves, are the preconditions of life? No, are the preconditions of humans being able to live there? Such arrogance. What about something that needs nitrogen oxide to breathe? Have we ever thought of that? It doesn't have, life isn't just sustained by what, there could be any number of things sustained by any other number of things, surely. Sorry, it makes me cross. 2.4 children, booze lovers, have more kids, which is a terrible thing, really, isn't it? If you think the amount of people who abuse booze and then they've got kids. Don't put the Johnny bag on. Beautifully put there, Nads. Thank you very much. Johnny bag. Didn't think we'd get there, but we did. Beer drinking blokes may be more fertile and father more children, research suggests. A study of couples having IVF found higher partner birth rates for would-be dads who enjoy the occasional pint. load of old bollocks. This chap was blown up by his vape, but it's not going to stop him puffing. What would stop him puffing? Check that out. Look, he was smoking on a vape. Chef severely burnt when a vape battery exploded in his pocket. Said yesterday, but I won't kick the e-cigs habit. See, a habit is a habit. An addiction is an addiction. And it doesn't matter if it blows your leg off. You can still do it. You just can't stop. Video nasty. What do you think this could be referring to, guys? Video nasty. Dina's going to love this one. TV remotes are dirtier than the loo. Your telly remote is dirtier than your toilet, and most are contaminated with poo. Oh, God. Oh, just turn over to BBC Twos. Here's an image of Madonna. I don't know. Curlers. When have curlers ever been good? Who takes the clicker to the loo? Very good, MeTube. Yeah, who takes the clicker to the loo? Does anyone else find photographs of mock knees getting excited at Cheltenham races really offensive? I don't know why I do. I can't stand watching shots of people at the races. There's something about it I just find really annoying. And here's another one. Look, getting really excited. I don't know. There's something really unedifying about it. I don't know what it is. It's a weird quirk of mine. I realize the problem sits with me, but I don't like it. I just don't. Fuck off, all of you. And there's a lovely little red squirrel, and I just love him. He makes me happy. Look at him. Oh. Anyway, and on that note, as I say, hopefully the Curly Cooks are gonna deliver some kind of fake away copycat dish. I am hedging my bets, and I'm about to jump onto Uber Eats, and I'm about to order myself some food because I can feel I'm going to get hungry. So I can't guarantee how successful Curly Cooks is going to be, but they will see you at 11 o'clock. In the meantime, grab yourself a coffee and maybe